All right, let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this class is called Core and Recovery. The recovery part of the class I usually do right at the beginning. We do mobility work. Mobility work is basically different movements that isolate specific joints in the body. And the idea is to increase our range of motion and our ability to control that range of motion in that joint. So when we're doing mobility work, the most important thing is that we are actually isolating a joint. So for example, if I'm isolating my knee, I don't want my back to be rounding as I do this, like, oh my God, my nose is at my knee. That's not my knee working, that's my back rounding. Okay, so rule number one, isolate the joint you're working with and only move that joint. Rule number two, which will make rule number one easier, is hold your body with some tension. Okay, think of almost doing a plank, but just turn down a little bit. Okay, the more stable you are in the areas of your body that you're not moving, the more mobile you'll be able to be in the parts of the body that you are moving. And then rule number three, smile, try to enjoy it, breathe, make that range of motion as big as possible. Okay, so we will start with the ankle. Let's start with our right leg. Take your right arm, hook it underneath your right leg, put it in a headlock like this. Yeah. We're going to make nice slow circles. Each rotation should take about 6 to 10 seconds, okay? And really try to find the full extent of that circle that you can make with your ankle. I remember when I was dancing a lot in New York, if I would do this exercise, my ankle would sound like microwave popcorn. Good. And reverse directions. Also, at any point during the class, if you have questions about any of the exercises, if anything is unclear, or if you're like, hey, I need a modification for this, this is too easy or this is too hard, go ahead and just type it in the comment box on YouTube and I'll be able to answer it. Good. Let's switch to the other leg. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles. And like 3 days that it has been raining, which is nice. Good. Reverse. And good. Let's switch back to the other leg, same position. This time we're going to isolate the knee. So the way it's going to work, first step, flex the toes of your right foot back towards your right knee. Lift your chest so that your back is nice and straight. If this position is hard for you to keep your back straight, you can hold your leg with your hands here, lowering the leg a little bit to the floor. That'll make it easier, okay? But if you have the flexibility, do it up here. Flex the toes back towards the knee, and then try to extend the leg as much as possible. Make sure not to round the back as you do this. And then lower. Extend, lower. Extend, lower. I'll show the other version just in case anyone's doing that. Extend. Good. Let's do 2 more. And good. Let's switch legs. Good. Extend. Lower. Extend. lower. Nice. Let's do 2 more. Extend, lower, 1 more. Extend and lower. Good. All right, we're going to move up into the hip now. When we do mobility for the hip and the shoulder joint, these two joints are very, very mobile. So they can get a little bit more complicated, and it's a lot easier to compensate in these movements. So what we're going to do, if you have a book or a yoga block, we're going to use it for this exercise. You're going to be on all fours in like a cat-cow position. You want knees underneath hips, shoulders stacking over wrists, okay? The reason that we stack shoulders over wrists and hips over knees is this way our weight is pouring into our bones. If our hands are out here, now our muscles have to hold up a little bit. This isn't as architecturally sound, right? So we want those nice right angles. That'll make this a little bit easier, less muscular engagement. So for this exercise, I'll demonstrate with the right hip first. I'm going to put a yoga block on my lower back and on top of, I guess, like the base of my pelvis here. The motion's going to look like this. I'm going to bring my right knee in towards my chest. I'm going to open the leg out to the side. Think of a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. And then I'm going to kick up and back and then bring the leg through. Okay? Let's see if I can do it from this angle. So knee comes in, leg goes out to the side, kicks up and back, and then through. Okay? The most common place that people will compensate in this exercise is as we go out to the side, it's really easy to lift the spine like that. We don't want that, okay? We want that back to stay neutral, and we're just lifting, abducting the hip. Okay? Let's give that a shot. We're going to do 5 rotations in that direction, and then we will switch the direction. Okay? I'll give you a different angle. All right, let's try this together. Knee in towards the chest, out to the side, kick up and back, and then through. Nice. 2 more. Good. Let's try and switch directions. So we will kick up and back first, open out to the side, and then through neutral. Okay? Kick up and back, out to the side, through center. Good. 1 more. Up and back, out to the side, center. Good. Let's switch to our left leg. Sometimes I forget to breathe when I'm doing mobility work because it requires a lot of concentration. So don't do what I'm doing and hold your breath. Please breathe. Another tip for this as you go through the rotations is keep your core really strong, right? The stronger this is, the more engagement you have in your core, the freer the motion in the hip. All right, 5 circles, go. Good. 1 more. And reverse. Kick up and back, out to the side, through center. And good. If you need to, kind of shake your hips out a little bit. Nice. If you're just tuning in the way on my website, please click on the video. It'll take you to YouTube. And then just comment in the comment box with your name so I know that you're here. All right. Let's go ahead and work with the shoulders next. So for this exercise, you can be on your knees like this or in a kneeling position here. Sorry about the camera angle. Can barely see my face. So any position that's comfortable for you, you can even do this standing. The important part is the motion with the shoulder. So I'll show you what that's going to look like. We'll do the right shoulder first. Everything else in the body stays perfectly engaged. No movement in the chest or the spine. Open the right hand so that it faces forward. So you're externally rotating the shoulder. Bring the arm across the body, keeping the elbow straight. Bicep comes up by the ear. From here, we're going to open everything. Hand, it's hard to see here. Hand's going to open up so it faces away from the body. You're going to reach back. Continue that rotation, and then you'll end with your palm facing away from you, okay? I'm doing it down here on the floor, but feel free to do it up here or standing up. Just want you to be able to see what the motion looks like, okay? Then you're gonna reverse. You're gonna lead with your thumb, lift up as high as you can, then start to rotate. Continue that rotation. At the top of the position, bicep is by the ear, palm is facing in towards your face, and then the arm will cut across the body and then back to neutral. All right? Let's try 3 rotations and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, so externally rotate, palm away from the body, arm cuts across the body, bicep up by the ear, rotate the palm away from the body, internal rotation, reach back, continue to rotate in, rotate in, rotate in, rotate in, and then reverse. Lead with the thumb as high as you can go, and then rotate. Bicep up by the ear, palm facing the face, arm cuts across the body, back to neutral. Good, one more. Externally rotate, palm open, arm cuts across the body, bicep up by the ear, open the armpit, open the arm, rotate, 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 continue to rotate. Palm faces away from the body at the end. Lead with the thumb, extend the shoulder, reach, 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 then rotate. Bicep up by the ear, palm facing the face, arm cuts across the body. Nice. Good job. Or hopefully it was a good job. I wasn't there to see it. Let's do the other shoulder. All right, left arm. Open the palm away from the body. Arm cuts across the body. Bicep up by the ear. Open the shoulder, palm faces away from the body. Continue to rotate, 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 rotate. And then reverse. Reach with the thumb. Extend the shoulder, rotate. Bicep up by the ear. Arm cuts across the body. Good. 2 more. Last one. Very nice. Oh, I love that one. Feels so good on the shoulders. All right, we're going to do one more mobility exercise. This is for the shoulder blades, for the scapula. So we're going to work with two movements of the shoulder blade called protraction and retraction. Protraction is where the shoulder blades, these kind of triangular shaped bones, slide forward around the rib cage. So anytime we're at the top of a push-up or we're pushing forward, the scapula slides forward and wraps around the rib cage here, okay? And then retraction is where the scapula come together in the back. I don't know if you can see from here, squeezing together in the back. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our arms out in front of us. You can be in any position you want for this. You can be standing, you can be kneeling. I'm going to do it here so you can see. All right. First step, keep your arms straight and keep the relationship, the distance between your palms, the same during the entire movement. Okay. So you're going to start by squeezing the shoulder blades together. Keep the arms straight. Squeeze them hard, and then slide them forward. Reach forward as far as you can. Notice I'm not rounding my spine though, okay? Spine stays straight. We're just isolating the shoulder blades. Squeeze them together. Slide them forward. All right, squeeze them together. Slide them forward. Nice. Squeeze them. Slide them forward. Nice. Two more. Squeeze them. And then slide them forward. Good. Relax. We're going to do one more variation on that movement. Before that, I just want to explain why this exercise is important. So if you're lifting, if you're doing any sort of pulling motion, the first thing you want to engage is those muscles in between the scapula. So if you're doing a row, first thing you want to do is retract the shoulder blade and then pull with the arm and the lats, okay? At the top of any pushing exercise, you want to get that last little bit of extension and protraction, okay? So this action is small, but it's very important for other activities, other lifts. So we're going to add an element to it now. This time we're going to retract, we're going to elevate, reach forward, and then down. Retract, up, forward, down. So we're basically making circles with the shoulder blades. Make sure the arms stay straight and the distance between your hands stays consistent. Good. And let's reverse. Reach forward, up, together, down, forward, up, together, down. Nice. Let that go. I like that. Brian said he imagines he's on a train. I've had that exact same thought. It's like right when you look at the, I don't know what those parts are called, but they connect the wheels. All right. That concludes the mobility portion. Hopefully you're all recovered 100%. We're going to get into the core portion. For this, I like to keep most of the exercises the same. The idea and what I've found really helpful in core work is just consistency and repetition. So the core can take a lot of load. It's an endurance muscle for the most part. So if you're consistent and you do just a little bit of core work every day or a little bit of core work every other day, you'll see vast improvements in your strength and your efficiency. So hopefully, if you keep coming back to this class, you'll get better and better at these exercises, and you can modify them and make them harder and harder gradually. So exercise that I always do in this class, the dead bug. For this exercise, you're going to start on your back, knees bent, arms pointing straight up. To engage the core, we're going to suck the belly button down and in. And I'm also thinking of tucking my pelvis under, okay? Tuck the pelvis under. What this is going to do is this is going to flatten our lumbar spine on the floor, and it's going to engage the entire anterior, the front part of our body. Exercise looks like this. Holding this engagement, you're going to open shoulders and hips. Hands and feet are going to hover an inch from the floor, and then you're going to bring everything back to center. Okay. Inhale, open. Keep the knees bent, arms straight. Exhale, back to center. Okay. We're going to do 15 to 20 of those on your own. I'm going to show you now 2 different modifications, one to make it easier, one to make it harder. If the version I just showed you is okay, go ahead and start your 15 to 20. To make it easier, arms on the floor, just move the legs, keeping the knees bent. Okay? So that's the regression. If you want a progression to make it harder, you're going to extend the legs at the base of the exercise. The lower the feet are to the floor, the harder it will be to hold that engagement, okay? Let's go, 15 to 20. Make sure to breathe and smile. Nice. Finish up with a few more. And good. All right. So that was dead bug. We're going to do dead bug version 2. This is a contralateral exercise, which means that we will be using opposite limbs. What this does is it changes the target muscle in the core that we're using. So symmetrical exercise is going to hit the six-pack muscle more, the rectus abdominis. This is more focused on the obliques, which are the muscles on the side that help with rotation and anti-rotation. All right, the setup for the exercise is the same on our backs, except we do opposite limbs. So right arm will go with left leg, back to neutral, left arm, right leg, back to center. Let's give that a try, 16 to 20. Let's finish up with one or two more. Nice. If you need to give your core a little rest or a little stretch, you can reach your arms overhead, legs long. Reach everything away from your center. All right. We're going to move through the next 3 exercises pretty quickly. We're going to try to build a little bit of heat, a little bit of momentum. So first exercise of the 3 exercises, something called toe touches. Legs straight up in the air or straight enough They can be bent a little bit if that's comfortable. Like the name of the exercise implies, toe touches, we're reaching up and touching our toes. If that's too hard, it's fine to touch maybe halfway up the shins. Okay, so the engagement's going to start here down at the base of the pelvis. Start squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. That's going to lift your torso and your upper chest off the floor. Touch the toes and then come back down. Okay, control the motion up just as much as the way down. Exhale up, inhale down. Let's go for 15 to 20. Again, you can also just touch halfway up the shins. And good. All right, feet flat on the floor, knees bent, hands behind the head. Opposite elbow to opposite knee. Back down. Let's do 16 to 20. If you need to rest at any point, rest and then join back in when you can. Exhale up, inhale down. Three more. And good. Stretch the body long, arms overhead. Reach, 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 reach. Nice. One last exercise in this set of 3. Try to keep the momentum going. For this, we are going to do Russian twists. Give you 3 different versions. Version 1, this will be the easiest. Keep your heels lightly on the floor. Lean back, hinging at the pelvis. Notice that my spine is straight here. And you want to lean back just to the point where your heels feel like they need to start coming off the floor. Arms together, or hands together, I should say. Twist, touch, twist, touch. All right, so that's version 1, leaning back, heels on the floor. Version 2, lift the lower legs so that it's parallel with the floor, and then it's the same motion. Twist, touch, twist, touch. If you want to go for a real challenge, try to keep the legs straight, keep the spine straight, and then twist. All right, let's go for 30 seconds, starting now. You can also do this with weight if you have some available. Ten more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. All right, shake that out. I don't know about you, but it's hot in here. We're going to take a 30-second, more like a minute and a half break. If you want to get some water, get up, walk around, shake things out. We're going to give, for the next set of exercises, the front of our body a little bit of a break. We'll work with our spine muscles and our glutes mostly. Again, take a minute, rest, get some water. Also, if anyone has any questions at this point, this is a good time to type them into the comment section, and I can hopefully address them before we move on. After you're done with the class, I did just post a bunch of exercise core tutorials on my website. So if anyone wants more detailed information or breakdowns on any of the exercises that we did today, or maybe some that we didn't do today, you can go on there and look. Each video is about like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It breaks the exercise down. It makes it very clear and easy to understand. Some of the videos are a little wacky, given my sense of humor, so bear that in mind. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next set of exercises. First exercise we're going to do is a variation on an exercise called a bird dog. Usually for bird dogs, we're reaching forward and then coming in like this. For this exercise, we're just going to be moving the legs. All right, so we'll start with the right leg. It's going to be extended behind us. I'm going to lift it. I'm going to open it out to the side, touch the floor, lift it, bring it back to center. Okay, that's version 1. So lift, open, center. If you want more of a challenge, what you're going to do is you're going to lift, touch, and then you're going to cross the first leg. So you're reaching across the body, touching, and then bringing it back out to the side. Okay? For that second version, your leg is really never resting on the floor. You're just touching your toe away from your body and then across your body. Let's go for about 30 seconds. Should feel this in the glute. Make sure that your core is engaged. Good, 10 more seconds. And good, let's switch legs. All right, left leg. Reach out to the side and then across the body. Nice, 10 more seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Good. Shake that out. Shake that out. That's a really nice exercise because it hits all the different 3 heads of the glute muscle. You get your abduction, you get your adduction, you get your extension. You're getting all of it. Next exercise will be glute bridges. So we'll be on our backs, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. I will give you 3 different options for this exercise. Option 1 is the regular glute bridge. Keeping the core engaged, squeeze the glutes, drive the hips up towards the ceiling. You want to be one long line from shoulders to knees. Okay, I'm not overarching or extending the spine, keeping it one long line and then coming back down. So that's version 1. Up, down. Version 2. Bridge up, extend one leg, put it back down, extend the other leg, put it back down, hips to the floor. Okay, for version 2, notice when I extend this leg, I'm not losing any elevation in the other leg. I'm not dropping down here. I'm also not dropping this hip, okay? Really fight that, keep that elevation there. Switch legs, then back down. Version 3, you're gonna start on one leg, bridge up, then switch, then go down on one leg. Up on that same leg, switch, lower. All right, whatever version you want to do, let's do about 20 of these. I'll start with version 1, then go to 2, then go to 3, so you can follow along regardless of which one that you're doing. So let's go for 20. Finish up with 1 or 2 more. Very nice. All right, this last exercise we're going to do in this kind of leg series or hip series is pretty difficult. So be careful, go slow. I really recommend having a towel or a blanket or a pillow for this. Okay, so the way we're going to set up, we're going to be on our knees like this. Okay, sorry that you can't see my head for a second. You will in a moment. So what we want to do is we want to squeeze everything, glutes engaged, core engaged. I'm going to start driving my lower leg into the floor. Okay, hold on, I have a lot of comments coming in. Let's see. So Brian, for helping with hip extension, I'll do a stretch at the end for you. Tight hamstrings. So hamstrings help with hip extension. So if you're having trouble with hip extension, it's usually caused by over tightness in the hip flexors, right? Keeping the hip in like this, or weak glutes. So hip bridges, honestly, probably the best thing you can do to work on getting hip extension, right? The glutes, when they activate, press the hip forward and they lengthen the hip flexors in the front. And then Gino had a question, do you press your lower back into the floor like a dead bug? Gino, what exercise are you referring to? If it's for the glute bridge, not really. You just want to keep the torso in one piece. Okay. So for this exercise, set up on your knees. Knees should be about hip distance apart, okay? Pressing the lower leg into the floor. Rest of the body is in one line. Lean back as far as you can go. And then press back up. Okay? So even like 10 degrees is fine, and then go back. This is working with the quadricep muscles in an eccentric pattern, so we're lengthening it under tension, which is something that most people don't practice, so it can feel a little weird sometimes on the knees. So just go really easy at first, see how it feels, and then go back up, okay? If you're a runner, like I know my Uncle Dave is, this is actually really, really good to relieve some of that tenseness and hypertrophy in the quads. All right, so lean back and then press back up. Lean back, press back up. Do maybe 5 of these. Good, one more. And good. All right. Oh, yeah. All right, take a quick second. We are going to move on now to some isometric exercises. Isometric exercises, or basically isometric means your muscles are staying one length, but they're under tension. So a plank would be the, I guess, prime example of an isometric exercise. The isometric exercise that we're going to work with today is similar to a plank, but just a little bit different, okay? So it's called beast pose. It comes from a movement pedagogy called animal flow. So the way we're going to set up for beast pose is we're going to be on all fours, just like a cat-cow. And then you're going to bring your knees in just a little bit. Hold on, we got some more. Jared, should you feel that one in your knees? Yes, you do feel that last exercise we were doing, stretching the quads in the knees. It's working on lengthening the 4 muscles, so your vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, vastus intermedius, and then rectus femoris, so the 4 muscles of the quadricep. It's stretching them over the knee. We don't often use those muscles in that way, but it's actually really, really beneficial. If you do that more consistently, it can help with knee pain. But when you first start doing it, it is a little uncomfortable in the knees. All right, where was I? Oh, right, beast pose. All right, on all fours. Knees are just slightly in towards the belly button, so a little bit forward of the hip line. We're protracting the shoulder blades, right? We talked about that earlier, not retraction, protraction, pressing the floor away. Suck my belly button up and in. Tuck my toes. And then I lift my knees an inch off the floor. Okay, go through that again. Protract the shoulder blades, press the floor away. Tuck the pelvis slightly, suck the belly button up and in. Tuck the toes, lift the knees an inch off the floor. All right. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. If it's too hard, just come down maybe 10 seconds in, rest, and then come back up, okay? 30 seconds, go. Make sure to breathe. That's one of the hardest things to do during an isometric exercise is breathe. Try to take little small, shallow breaths up into the chest so that your abdomen can stay engaged. And good, down. Nice. Shake that out. If any of you are singers, you should try holding an exercise like that and sing maybe 8 to 16 bars of your favorite song. Or watch a comedy special if you want a real challenge. We're going to rest for a second, and then we're going to do the same pose, but we're going to add some variation to it. If you were just doing beast pose and that felt hard enough for you, stay there. If you want a challenge, you can follow the next modifications that I give you. So what we're going to do now in this position is you're going to try to lift 1 foot an inch off the floor and then back down. Try to lift the other foot an inch off the floor, back down. Notice as I do this, I'm not shifting my weight in my hips at all. I'm staying perfectly centered, okay? The next step, if you want a real challenge, is try to lift a hand, back down. Maybe lift a hand and a foot, back down. Okay. So we'll go for 30 seconds. You can either do the normal beast pose or you can play around with lifting some limbs. Okay. All right. 30 seconds starting now. Also feel free to twerk if you want, whatever you want to do. This is your time to have fun. If any of you, come down. If any of you can do that exercise and bring both hands and both feet off the floor and hold that for 5 seconds, you'll get a lifetime supply of personal training sessions with me. So just, tag me, send me the video. You've got it. We're gonna rest for a second. We're gonna do that one more time, and then we're gonna cool down, call it a day. Before we jump into it, if any of you want the next version of this, I'll show it to you. If you have space in your apartment, it's really fun. I don't have much space to show you, but I'll do my best. So what this leads up to is moving this pose across the floor. So I would lift opposite limbs, right hand, left foot, slide them forward, place them back down. Lift, hover, down together. All right. So if you want a challenge, you can try that or do any of the versions of Beast Pose that I just showed. All right, we'll do one more set starting in 10 seconds, okay? And starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Again, remember to breathe and smile. Sing your favorite song. Happy birthday to you. Three, 2, 1, done. Nice. Good job. Good job. All right, we're going to cool down now. We'll start with a hip flexor stretch, Brian. This is for you. So for this, you're going to take a blanket or a towel, place it down on the floor. Let's start with our right knee on the towel, left leg bent in front. All right, now what I want to do from here is I want to engage my glute. By engaging my glute, notice how my pelvis tucks under, okay? Engage the glute, pelvis scoops under. That's going to lengthen the hip flexors in the front here. Okay, if you want more of a stretch, flex the toes behind you. That's going to increase the angle at the knee, then squeeze the glutes. You're going to feel a little bit more stretch in the quadriceps down here. Okay, and then you just hold that. If this feels enough for you, stay there. If you want to turn this stretch up a little bit, I'll try to explain how to do it. So staying in this position, we're going to activate our extension muscles by trying to slide that back foot away from us. Okay, so I'm pressing those toes into the floor. I'm trying to slide my knee away from my body, even though it's not moving. Press those toes, try to slide them behind you. And then relax. Now I'm going to try to drive my knee up towards my face. It's not going to move, but I'm sliding my knee that way. So it's engaging the hip flexors, the muscles that we're stretching. Okay, and then you reverse. Press the foot back. Press, press, press. Relax. Drive the knee forward. Relax. Nice. Let's switch legs. All right. Squeeze the glute, tuck the pelvis under. If you want to stay here, that's fine. If you want more of a stretch, flex the foot. Nice. If you want to light this stretch up, drive the foot back, press through the toes. Think of sliding your knee behind you. That's going to engage the posterior side of the leg here. Then relax. Then think of driving the knee forward. We're going to engage the hip flexors, the muscles that are lengthened. Relax. Drive the foot back. Relax. Try to slide the knee forward. And relax. Good. So basically what we were doing in that stretch is we were activating the two sides or two different muscle groups that are being worked, right? So when we're trying to slide our knee forward, we're engaging our hip flexor muscles, the ones that are lengthened. When we're pressing that foot back and trying to slide the knee behind us, we're engaging the glutes, we're engaging the posterior side. So by switching between those two muscle groups, we're lengthening both of those muscles around the joint. All right, we're going to do one more stretch to finish up. We're going to have front leg, 90-degree angle, back leg, 90-degree angle. Okay, this position is called 90-90, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. Okay. I'm trying to twist forward both at my hips and my torso so that my hips are parallel with my front leg. Okay, if you don't have the flexibility for that, it's okay to kind of lean over to one side, but ideally we want to be sitting straight up with hips parallel to the front leg. From here, hinging at the hips, keeping the torso and the spine nice and straight, I'm going to lean forward. Okay, hands can come to the floor. Nice. If you want, you can stay there, or we can activate the stretch a little bit by driving that bottom leg into the floor. So I'm driving. I can even take my hands off at this point because that drive from my leg is keeping my chest up. Good. Now try to lift the leg off the floor. It's not actually moving, but I'm trying to engage all those muscles here in the hip flexor. Good, and then switch. Drive the leg into the floor. Nice, hands to the floor. Try to lift the leg. Good, relax. And let's switch sides. Front leg 90 degrees, back leg 90 degrees. Turning the hips so they're hopefully parallel with the front leg. Lean forward, hinging at the hips, keeping the back nice and long. Hands to the floor or to your yoga blocks or to your encyclopedia or dictionary or your Harry Potter novels. Good. If you're fine there, stay right where you're at. If you want to engage the stretch, start by driving that leg into the floor as hard as you can. Lift the hands. Keep driving that leg down, down, down. Good. Hands to the floor. Opposite engagement. Try to lift the leg off the floor. Good. Relax. Hands off. Drive the front leg into the floor. Hands to the floor. Try to lift the leg. And relax. Nice. Well, that was the class for today. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in again. I really appreciate the continued support. For those of you who just came for the first time, hope to see you again next week. Right now I'm doing 2 classes a week. We have this class, the Core and Recovery, on Saturdays at 1, and then I'm doing a Monday night yoga meditation class that's at 7 p.m. every Monday. Right now the classes I'm doing for free or donation based. So if you do want to support me, I would appreciate it if you could go to my page. There's a donate button, like $5 to $20 or $20,000, whatever you want to give, whatever you're able to give. If you're not, totally cool. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel, tell your friends, keep coming back. And like I mentioned during the middle of the class, I did just post a bunch of videos under the exercise tutorials on my website if you want to go and look at some core exercises and build your own routines at home. Hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be posting more of these videos on mobility, flexibility, leg workouts, upper body workouts, so we can all stay active and fit at home. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you showing up. I'll stick around for the next 5 minutes or so. If anyone has questions about any of the exercises, I can answer them and demonstrate, or questions about just fitness in general or specific body things. My uncle asked me, do I ever do push-ups with my arms fully extended in front? What I think you might be referring to is I think it's called the Chinese push-up. I'll demonstrate it. David, let me know if this is what you're talking about. I haven't done these in a while. They're hard. David, is this what you're talking about? Yes, that's it. Yeah, that one's really hard. That's called the Chinese push-up. I haven't done those in a while. They're fun to do them out here, and then they get harder and harder as you bring your arms wider and wider. It's a good exercise if you're a rock climber, actually. That's definitely like a circus and acrobatic exercise. And that's mostly core. I mean, there's a little bit of kind of chest and lat work, but that's mostly basically engaging the entire anterior surface, the front surface of your body, almost like turning it into a cup. One way to practice that exercise is actually to stay on your knees. So you don't bridge up onto your feet, you keep your knees planted, and you just practice bridging from knee to hand and arm. Yeah, David, that's one of the best things. It's a good test. If you can do that, you know that you have a strong core. I don't think I've ever given that to a client or taught that in a class. It's pretty advanced, and you need to have really good shoulder strength and shoulder position in order to do it properly. But if, for example, if I was working with like a gymnast or a circus performer or a really professional athlete or rock climber, I would maybe look to work towards being able to do something like that. Let's see, my mom asked, on the 90-90 position, am I able to go all the way forward with my upper body? Is that beneficial? It depends what the goal is. So if you're looking just to relax and kind of stretch, that's fine. What I would recommend is start by hinging from the hips, right? Trying to keep the back flat. Try to go as far as you can. And then from there, you can kind of relax and fold over. All right, so this would be more of like a yoga way of stretching. If you're looking to increase your mobility in this position, it's more beneficial to keep the back straight and to really press that leg into the floor. That's going to help increase the muscular engagement at that angle, as opposed to just letting the muscles relax and stretch. So it really depends on what you're looking for. If you just want to relax, definitely fold over. Sometimes it's nice. You can put like blocks down. No, this isn't high enough. You can put blocks down and like rest your chest on the block so that you don't have to go all the way forward. All right, thank you, David. Appreciate it. Great. I'll stick around for like 2 more minutes if anyone has questions. This is so cute. My brother just sent me a, let's see, my mom said it's easy for me to go all the way forward. So Mom, my question for you would be, if it's easy for you to go all the way forward, are you able to engage like the way I just talked where you're pressing that bottom leg into the floor? Are you able to engage at that position? If you aren't, what I would recommend is work more on the mobility side, because if there's a huge gap between your range of motion, your passive range of motion, your flexibility, and your active range of motion, your mobility, if there's a huge gap between those two ranges, that's where injury can happen. So for example, if I'm able to just like go completely over like this, super flexible, but then when I try to engage, I can only go to here, all those degrees of movement here, from my passive range up to where my active range starts, that's where injury could happen, because there's a lack of engagement, a lack of control. Yeah, so yeah, you feel a better stretch when you stay up, exactly. So you want to be able to activate your muscles in a stretch, right? For good examples, the hamstring, right? A lot of people can fold all the way over, they can get their nose to their knee, but then when you ask them to lift their leg, they're like, oh, I can't. It's more important to be able to lift the leg in this position than to be able to get my nose towards my leg. That's basically what mobility work is trying to bridge the gap between your passive range of motion, your flexibility, and your active range of motion. Right? It's important for athletes. If there's a huge gap there, that's where the injuries happen.